Hi guys, it's ASBYT and I believe I'm one of the first people in the UK to be unboxing the Realme 7 and 7 Pro. So a thumbs up for that would be awesome, and thanks to Realme for sponsoring today's video. Now the Realme 7 series phones have been widely tipped to be some of the best mid-range devices of this year. Some great specs, eye-catching designs, and the series starts from just £179. More on all of that and more shortly, but enough of my blabbing, let's get them unboxed. So the first thing you'll notice inside both is the paperwork and silicone cases, which are always nice to see, and then we have the phones. You've got the in-display fingerprint scanner image here on the Pro, but not on the standard, as the scanner is combined into the power button on the side. The Realme 7 that I have is apparently, and these may not be the confirmed retail names, Mist White, and it's a kind of nice pearl colouring, whereas the Pro I have is called Mirror Silver, and it's more of a kind of silvery grey. They both have this awesome sort of brushed frosted matte appearance, which is probably my favourite finish on a smartphone at the moment, and it will definitely help with reducing the appearance of dust and fingerprints if you decide to go naked. Settle down. Now the back and frame is made of polycarbonate, but not only does that make it probably more durable than glass, but also with the finish they've created on the back panels, honestly, you would be hard pushed to know straight away that this is indeed plastic and not glass. They've done a really brilliant job here. You have this pretty awesome two-tone effect on both, which creates a stripe that runs down that left-hand side and houses the Realme logo, and it runs right up to the camera module also on both, but the camera setups are slightly different. I think I probably prefer the sleek single lens line design on the Realme 7, that's some good alliteration right there, than the rectangular design on the Pro. But both are pretty inconspicuous, and more on camera specifics in a minute. You get Type-C charging on both, a headphone jack on both, but only stereo speakers on the Pro model. The standard just has that one bottom firing speaker. Also in the box you have the chargers and charging cable, and the charging technology is pretty impressive indeed. We have 30-watt dart charge on the Realme 7, which can charge the whopping 5000 mAh battery to about 50% in 25 minutes. And the Pro, with its 65-watt super dart charge, can charge to 100% in just under 35... I'm that excited. In just under 35 minutes, which is just straight madness. Apparently this makes it the fastest charging mid to high-end phone available. The battery in the Pro model is actually slightly smaller at 4500 mAh, and that is just one example where the standard model actually surprisingly outperforms the Pro. The larger battery in the standard 7 is possible due to the fact that we have a taller 6.5-inch Full HD Plus LCD panel. Both displays look great for the price, but the Pro model does have a higher peak brightness of 600 nits to the 480 nits on the standard, and I must admit I am a sucker for an AMOLED panel, as are quite a few of you who follow me on Twitter it seems. The Realme 7 has a 90Hz refresh rate and a 120Hz touch sampling rate, whereas the Pro model only has a 60Hz refresh rate and a 180Hz touch sampling rate. You would think that the Pro model would have the same, if not a higher refresh rate than the standard model, but high refresh rate AMOLED panels are really expensive to source, and that is where they've made the compromise to keep those prices down. To get a high refresh rate on an AMOLED panel is more expensive than to get it on an LCD panel. So if they had have gone high refresh rate with the AMOLED panel as well, it would be a lot more expensive. At least I think Realme give you the option. You could go with the technically better AMOLED display on the Pro, or you could go with the LCD display and have the higher refresh rate. They both are apparently the first smartphones that have been TÜV Rheinland reliability verified, and both have similar full screen displays with similar sized bezels, but the 16 megapixel camera cutout is definitely slightly bigger on the Realme 7 to the 32 megapixel shooter on the Pro. If we flip to the cameras on the back, the Realme 7 offers a 48 megapixel primary sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle, the token macro lens, which seems to be all the rage in budget to mid-range smartphones at the moment, and a black and white portrait lens, which is an interesting one. It's basically a new colour filter system which enables the portrait lens to detect a wider array of light, helping the main lens capture light better, enhancing contrast to help create stylistic images and texture to portraits. The Pro model has a very... The Pro model has a very similar setup indeed. It just has the 64 megapixel primary lens instead of the 48. And there's a few software tweaks as well. Larger camera sensors usually allow for, amongst other things, greater detail, better low light performance, and apparently Realme have actually developed a new ultra high definition algorithm for that 64 megapixel mode, which is meant to really enhance the clarity of the photo. You also get a wide array of different software modes, 3 night filters, allowing you to snap shots at night in special stylized ways. And the Pro model offers a starry mode, which utilizes AI combined with ultra-long exposure and multi-frame synthesis to enhance the sharpness and brightness of stars. A max of 4K at 30 frames a second video on the rear on both, and again on both on the front we have 1080p max at 30 frames a second. But on the Pro model we also have another special feature. We have what's known as AI color portrait video mode, which changes the background to shades of grey, not the film, highlighting the foreground subject, which some would find a pretty cool little feature, I'm sure. So far, I'm sure you'll agree, they're very, very hard phones to differentiate. They're both very similar. But what about chipsets? Well, the Pro is rocking the Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G, released in January this year. So not the very latest 700 series chip, but still very, very competent. And the standard 7 is using the world's first MediaTek Helio G95, which has been touted as a very capable gaming chip for mid-range devices. Again, looking at some of the benchmarks I did, they perform very, very similar indeed. And to be honest, for the average person, combined with the max 8GB of RAM on both and 128GB of storage on both, they are very, very capable gaming devices for an affordable unit. They should be able to handle pretty much any game you're going to want to throw at it. So if you are a smartphone gamer and you need a new phone that's affordable, then these are definitely ones to potentially consider. And then there's software. Both are running with realme UI based on Android 10, and it's pretty close to stock, which I really quite like. Both are apparently water resistant, although I'm not sure if there's an official IP rating or not. And both have a 3-card slot comprising of 2 SIM and 1 micro SD. So you have that expandable storage on both, which again, many of you will be happy about. So as you can see, considering that the Realme 7 starts from, as I said, just 179 UK pounds and the Pro from 279 pounds, you get a lot for your money here. I'm not sure on current pricing in India or the US, etc., but wherever you're from, if you want to know, let me know and I'll try my best to find out for you. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Realme 7 and 7 Pro. Which one of these would you choose if you had the option? And is there anything better for this sort of money currently available on the market? Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Subscribe and hit that notification bell if you're new to the channel and want to be notified every time I post a video. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, peace out.